must continue.
It seems that, yes, I would like to buy something.
Regardless of how hard life gets, take a break from the norm. Let's face life issues head on. From alcoholism to obesity, entertainment and lifestyle.
Plastic surgery does still go wrong.
Everything that matters on Matters. Mondays to Fridays, 12 to 3 p.m. on Voice of the People, Abuja. Because your voice matters.
Thank you for staying with us. Matters begins. Now, let's begin the show on a very sad note. In as much as we're still going to go back and talk about the entire situation with the NLC protest that is going on in Abuja and other parts of the country. At least one person has been confirmed dead and others injured in a vehicle accident in Abuja. The accident reportedly occurred in the early hours of this morning on the Buhari-Dutse Expressway. According to eyewitnesses, the accident was a result of overspeeding by a lorry carrying sand, which collided then with a taxi and killed the driver in the process. There was a very serious and fatal accident at the Buhari-Dutse Expressway. The accident happened very close to the army checkpoint in Buhari, one eyewitness said. The taxi driver is dead and many were injured. There are lots of casualties. 2 taxis were compressed under the lorry. Now, this is not the first accident happening this year on that road. From the videos we saw, it rained this morning in that axis, and it was as a result of the rain that the roads were slippery, I want to believe. And when it rains, it's pretty common to see it's pretty common to see car drivers generally just run on the roads. And sorry, I was carried away by my emotions. I'm being joined by Aliu Doma this morning. We're going to be running world rounds together. Thank you for joining me, Aliu.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about this before we get into the NLC situation, shall we?
All right, let's first of all, let's take a look at this one. It's really a sad situation to have people losing their lives in this cruel manner as a result of overspeeding, because that is what we got from the report that we have. It's as a result of overspeeding from a truck driver carrying sand in that axis. Yes, Buhari axis is a road that I apply a lot. I follow that road very well, and I know how drivers speed on that road very, very well. But there are a lot of shallow ways, shallow path in that particular road that people have to be very careful, especially during the rainy season. There has been a lot of awareness in terms of sensitizing people to understand the difference between the dry and rainy season. When it's raining, there is reduced visibility, and the tire, again, it depends on the kind of tires you use. No matter how new your tire is, you have to know how to move. You have to reduce your speed limit, because you never can tell. If you now apply your brake, you might not be able to stop your car, just like the tire is if the tire is dry compared to when it's raining. So we have to be very mindful on the way we drive. And if you look at the information that we have based on report from the Federal Road Safety Corps, it says that there are a lot of accidents between May this year. In May, they said that it's between January to March. That's first quarter of the month. They reported that there were 1,441 people who died, and 8,339 others were injured in 2,733 auto crashes across the country within this first 3 months, January to March. So you can see the huge number of people losing their lives to auto crashes. That alone, if at all we are coming out to tell people this is the number of people losing their life, I think it will also contribute, or it's going to go a long way in making people to be aware of the dangers attached to all of this overspeeding, or you not having your vehicle up to date in terms of all the things you need to have your vehicle in order before you ply the road. You must be a certified driver as well. There are a lot of precautionary measures that you need to take as a driver or as a road user, because you cannot go and endanger your life and that of others. Because the funny aspect is that when these authorities are trying to make sure that they enforce some of these laws that has to do with road usage, people tend to take it personally and tend to attack them to an extent. It's not all about you. You may feel, yes, you know how to drive, or you're able to maneuver your way with your old tires or your wear tires, or you don't have fire extinguisher, or you don't even have driver's license, or your vehicle particulars have expired. All of those things that are necessity, they are required before you ply the road. You don't have them simply because you feel, no, I can maneuver my way around, I can drive this, I can do this. It's all about you. There are other road users who you tend to endanger, and if at all you feel you can maneuver your way, how do you think those in authority will be able to ascertain that you can do that? The only way they can know is that when you follow the due process.
I know, it's very simple. We're in very difficult times right now. You can only vouch for yourself. Let's be honest. A man has lost his life. He went out to look for daily bread for himself and hopefully maybe his family members. And now he is no more. The family would have to bear living without a father or living without a brother. His friends will have to not have him, spend extra money trying to bury him, money that he was trying to get. You saw the video alongside me. It's very terrible. Even if you don't care about the lives of other people, how about yours? How about yours? You want yours to be cut short, and that's one of the best things that could happen. That's one of the best scenarios that could happen if you are in an accident, that you end up dead. What happens if you end up losing a body part, or you end up being a vegetable, and now you have to depend on people to be alive, and you just become an extra difficulty for yourself. I mean, there are several people that found themselves in that situation simply because they were in a hurry to get somewhere that they shouldn't have been in a hurry to get to. I mean, it's sad. We watched the video. Over 10 vehicles were involved. I saw a taxi was
too compressed by the truck.
Gone.
Tricycle there.
There's nothing you can get out of it. There's nothing you can get out of it. Tricycles. These people that are sick will have to look for money now that there's no money to treat themselves. It's sad. We need to start to think. We need to start to think about ourselves a little more seriously. I've been on the road before, and I see people drive when it rains. And I just want to pull over and allow them to keep going, because you don't even understand why are you driving on the express, probably on 60 or 70 in the rain.
And the thing is that you need, one thing we should all put at the back of our mind is that you need to get to your destination in one piece before you appreciate the movement. What happens if you crash on the way? You don't get to get to your destination. So what's the essence?
I mean, it's absolute madness out there. I think we need to be more conscious about these things. There are several things to do when it's raining. Drive slower. Put on your hazard lights. You see some people driving with absolutely no light. Absolutely no light in the rain. How is someone else supposed to know that you're there? You're not the only person on the road. If you don't have regard for your own life, please have regard for other people's lives. And I know that I sound a little bit brash right now, but lives have been lost. We are in a very difficult situation. Nigerians have never faced the amount of hardship they are facing now. If you can avoid some things, avoid it. What is a trailer doing running? I used to be one of the people that used to applaud the way that trailer drivers drive, these big trucks, the way that they drive, because most of the time they stick to their lane. They drive in between they drive in between the lines. You hardly see them breaking laws on the roads and whatnot. But what are you doing speeding when you are driving a big car?
And that's part of what the court marshal was saying, the OWU, that overspeeding is what is contributing to the number of fatalities in road crashes globally. It's something that really need urgent attention. Though he said at some point they tried to install speed limiting devices on commercial vehicles, but I doubt if that will actually work for us in Nigeria, simply because of our system. Yes, it might be applicable in other developed countries, but our system is not yet developed to that extent.
Well, is it so the same us that are still squeezing money to give to yes, now
I think we can do with speed breaker. The one that we normally have, the one they construct.
Thank you. What are the bumps?
Yes,
road bumps. Yeah, I think that works.
Speed breaker.
I live in an estate that happens to have a very beautiful road network. The roads are really good, and when you drive, you'll be very tempted to actually just use the road. You get what I mean? But there are speed bumps everywhere. There are speed breakers everywhere. You can't do that. That's where I knew that a lot of us Nigerians, we have our own problem. If we don't want to discipline ourselves, we would rather be disciplined by, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, we would rather be put in check.
You need it to be enforced by authorities.
And we are adults.
On your own volition, you cannot control yourself and do what is needed. Just a typical example: go to any traffic light you see in the cities of Abuja. You probably might say, I want to behave myself, I want to be a good citizen. You just come there, you see the red light showing you to stop, you stop, you see another person from your back coming, honking
at you to move,
that you should move, or they will try to find their way around by your side to go move because the road is not busy. These things are simple things that we should learn to cultivate the habit of obeying traffic sign. If at all we obey all of these traffic sign, we become a little bit patient. How many seconds? I don't think I've ever seen any traffic light on the road that goes beyond 90 something seconds. I think 90 seconds or thereabout. That's the max I see. In as much as I know, sometimes there are routes that you discover that the time is very short. You see 30 something seconds before you know you're still there. You just move one inch or just few inches, you discover that the light has changed to red again.
Absolutely.
Yes, but you just have to understand that it is not always. In rare circumstances, that's when you find that.
Absolutely. Now, one very funny thing is when you rush. We did this experiment, myself and my partner, and we found out when you're in a hurry and you're driving, that you're late or something, and you and someone else are going to the same place. Guess what? You arrive maybe 8 or 10 seconds before they do. With all of that maneuvering, all of that thing you are doing.
If you really want to understand that when you engage in a long distance journey, the person that overtake you, speeding, you're like, by the time the person gets to wherever he or she is going, few minutes later you get to that destination.
No, by few minutes you mean like a minute, 30 seconds or 2 minutes at most.
What's the essence?
It's better to arrive late than to be late, literally. I mean, how soon, if you have an 8 o'clock appointment and you leave your house by 8:10, it doesn't matter how fast you drive, you can't arrive at 8.
Yeah, of course.
You are already late. Calm down. You are late. You get it now. Thank you very much. Now let's get into the issue of the day. Very sad happening in the city, in the country of Nigeria right now.
Yeah.
We've prayed. You see, now what is getting me about it, just before I give the overview, what is getting me about this issue is the fact that there is a chance that there will be show of force. And that's what we've been praying against since morning, myself and Aliu. And now let's get into the story now. Hundreds of members of the National Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, and other affiliate unions have begun protesting in different parts of the country, especially Lagos inclusive, to demand that government addresses the harsh economy. They are carrying placards and protesters. Now in Lagos, that is, protesters converged at Ikeja Under Bridge. In Abuja, it was the Unity Fountain. Now, they are demanding from the government, let poor Nigerians breathe. End fuel price increase, stop Naira devaluation, fix local refineries, amongst other demands. NLC chairperson in Lagos, Fumi Sesi, said that the protesters will walk from the Ikeja Under Bridge to the State House of Assembly in Alausa to submit their protest letter. Now, in Abuja, I know that right now they have gotten to the National Assembly. And and we have updates that the gates of the National Assembly have been pulled down. Ali, you have any updates about that?
Yeah, that's what we have for now. Talking about protest has been going on in different parts of the country. We have seen reports from Lagos, we've seen River State, we have seen Kano State, we've seen Kaduna, Ogun. Did I mention Enugu? We've seen Ebonyi and some couple of other states that are following through with the protest. But again, here in the Federal Capital Territory, they started at the Unity Fountain there, but build up even before then. Early in the morning, we saw a lot of traffic coming into the Federal Capital Territory from the suburb, where people were made to spend extra hours, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours on their way coming into town to come to do their work or their daily dealings, because there was huge presence of security. They said along Karo Bridge there were military officers there and other security agencies there trying to make their presence felt by the protesters and also other citizens. And again, based on what we have about the National Assembly issue, was that the Nigerian Labour Congress marched to the National Assembly to drop their letter and also show their grievances to the authority. They're talking about the National Assembly, which is a normal thing that we should expect they would do. But unfortunately, when they got there, the gate was locked and they tried to gain entrance, talk to the security there. The security of personnel there denied them access, and some angry protesters among them used force to push and pull down the gate, because there is picture that shows the gate down on the ground. A green gate in the National Assembly has been pulled down by the protesters.
Now, okay, go ahead.
The issue there, we've been talking about what the citizens should do and also what the security personnel should do. Yes, it is okay for you to have a very good presence in every nook and cranny of the town. Let's take this National Assembly issue for example now. You get there, they try to get access to the National Assembly complex where they will go show their grievances to the members of the National Assembly there. What I expect from the security is for them to carry out a comprehensive check of people there before they let them enter the premises. But I don't know. I'm not in a position to know the directive the security personnel got from their superior from above, probably not to allow them entrance to the National Assembly complex.
Now, except if you are trying to, and this is me just saying, except if you are really trying to make this something else, you do know that these people are aggrieved.
Yeah. Because
nobody in their normal senses will just want to enter the streets and chant and walk in Abuja hot sun or Lagos hot sun or wherever it is that they are. It's not a convenient thing to do. Protest is like the last resort for someone to seek something. And these people are here and they're saying we just want to submit our letter and we need audience. Why are you not letting them into the building? Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. The security officers now, or the agencies now, are the ones that will control this thing. They have a very great role to play, because these are decisions that if you take or fail to take will make or mar the situation.
Absolutely.
You have to be very critical and realistic in your thinking. You cannot just give directive on these issues without thinking twice. You have to look at all possible angles and all possible scenarios. Okay, worst case scenario, what will happen if this happen or that happen? Or if I fail to do this or fail to do that, what would happen? So if you deny these people entrance, worst case scenario, what will happen?
What are you trying to do?
What do you want to achieve by doing that? So if I were in that position, I would just try to carry out a comprehensive check to make sure that nobody is carrying any incriminating weapon that will endanger any person's life or property inside the premises of the National Assembly. For instance, now you've already carried out your search. Okay, you are here. Welcome. I hope you guys are good. We're going to provide you with adequate security to carry out your protest because it is your civic right. You can do it. Okay, but we need to. Where is your leader? You need to liaise with the leadership of the protesters. Okay, we're going to let you in, but you have to not be able to carry anything incriminating, any dangerous weapon. We cannot allow you to enter the premises with such materials. So you search them. If at all you have that luxury, you can search them, allow them entrance, go there, do what you want to do, and come out peacefully. I don't think there is any difficulty in doing that. You don't need any. It's not a rocket science. You just allow them to do what they should do. But now that the gate has been pulled down, from pulling down the gates, it also make them become angrier.
Absolutely.
And it also provoked the security agencies.
Thank you. It creates a hostile environment for whatever would happen to happen. And this is a plea that we've been carrying out. Look, this just goes on to show that this administration is struggling to listen to the citizens. Now, the speech by the president yesterday was supposed to convey I listen to you. I'm paying attention to you. And the NLC have come out several times. It was on Monday. Yeah, that happened Monday. Yes, Monday evening. The NLC have come out to say, well, that speech was just a speech. We've been trying to get these people to talk to them. We've been negotiating with empty chairs from their own end. They are not listening. And Nigerians were at a loss as to who to believe in the situation. And now we can see it. Because this protest is just, listen to us.
Yeah.
What is just come out and stand in front of them and let them talk and say, okay, we have heard you.
Yeah.
We've heard you. We've heard what you have to say. We understand your plight. It still remains. We need more time. And it's fixed. But then now you're putting measures to create a hostile environment for this. And again, it's going to bring me to the question I've been asking since we've been talking about this last week, Aliu. Why do we keep behaving like we are not on the same side of defense? It's starting to look like it's a federal government against the union. And the union represents the people because most of the people belong to the union. They work.
Yeah, there are a lot of angles to that particular question you just asked. If it's kind of becoming between the government or us versus them, that is the government versus the Nigeria Labour Congress and the TUC. It is a very delicate situation here because people have different opinions concerning what is happening. But the overall interest there is that what the NLC are representing, regardless of what other people are saying or regardless of other people's perspective on their political affiliation with a particular political party or not, is there anything they are demanding for that it's out of the ordinary?
Exactly.
Is there anything there that the ordinary citizen in Nigeria would not also demand?
Now,
so if at all you are saying these people now have affiliation with a political party, because that is the part or the angle at which some people are coming from now, that the Labour Party has affiliation with the Nigeria Labour Congress because the Labour Party is actually an offshoot of the Nigeria Labour Congress, and they came out before the 2023 election to endorse Peter Obi and the Labour Party. So it's easier for you to look at it from that perspective. But again, you should ask yourself, what these people are demanding, is it not what is happening in Nigeria? Is it, if you are a political party card carrier of another party different from the Labour Party, wouldn't you also demand for such things?
Remember when you remember when the fuel prices went up immediately, like when it had just gone up, and someone said if you voted for the current sitting government,
the ruling All Progressives,
the ruling thank you
the
ruling All Progressives Congress, if you voted for them, is your own fuel price lower than the people that didn't? You see, this is the problem. Whenever we sit down here and we tell Nigerians that this Nigeria is all of us that have it, a lot of people begin to think, oh no, you're just talking, or they would agree with you until it's time to show that, and you just notice that people are doing very differently from what they say that they believe in. Because now let's look at the facts. We are all, this country is like land. When rain falls, it falls everywhere. It doesn't matter your tribe, your religion, or your political affiliations. And that's why I have always maintained that it is completely insensible. Insensible is the word, right? Yeah, it's completely not sensible for you as a human being to say, above being from my nation, above being human, I am of this tribe, or I am of this religion, or I am of this political party. Look at the people in the streets now. Everybody that is protesting and standing in the sun, there's nobody that is there that is saying, oh no, I belong to the Labour Party, or I belong to the APC, or I belong to the PDP. While this is going on, is the tribunal not going on at the same time?
Whenever you go to the market as an individual, the prices of commodities you get there, do you show your political party card membership to buy things at a lower rate or at a higher rate? No. We all buy things at the same rate. So regardless of your political affiliation or wherever you come from, we are all in this together. And again, I want to say this for a fact. if you feel that the Labour Party and the NLC have an affiliation and you say they are using this against the government of the day, part of the demand of the NLC, is there anything new in the demand, or it has been what they have been demanding even before they gave those 8 weeks ultimatum?
Absolutely.
Those demands have been there. And again, yes, I will say kudos to the president for ruling out some of the palliative measures that he thinks his administration will provide for Nigerians that will cushion the impact of the fuel subsidy removal and also the forex unification. But again, these people have given you what they want. In fact, there has been an agreement between your team, that is your federal government delegations, and that of the NLC. Go and implement what we have agreed and signed on. If at all, during the Monday 7 p.m. national broadcast by the president, he was able to tell Nigerians, because there are two key things there that the president failed to address. One is the issue of our refinery. Because that is the Labour Party, the NLC president Joe Ajaero had to re-echo on that fact that is the main pain point of Nigerians, and that is the genesis of the problem that we are facing today in Nigeria, the issue of lack of functional refinery in this country. I was able to carry out a research when I was going through some materials recently. I discovered that yes, we already have 445,000 refinery capacity in Nigeria, that is putting together all the refineries we own in Warri, Port Harcourt, and that of Kaduna. And before the subsidy is being removed, before the removal of fuel subsidy, we already know that what we consume in Nigeria is around 60 to 65 million liters of petrol per day. Now it has come down to 45 million liters per day. So if we have 218,000 barrels of crude refined in Nigeria daily, we're able to satisfy the Nigerian market, which means we don't even necessarily need to have our 450,000 capacity refinery producing at maximum capacity before we'll be able to solve the issue of fuel subsidy in Nigeria, because we'll be able to refine our own. And don't forget that there are other byproducts if we refine. We are not even talking about petrol alone.
Absolutely.
We get other byproducts from the petroleum. So a lot of things for us to benefit there. And the second thing is the issue of minimum wage. Minimum wage will be reviewed. How much? When? Can we continue to postpone the suffering of Nigerians and wait until when?
I feel like it is completely preposterous to try to postpone people's hunger. It's like, you're hungry. Oh, wait. Your hunger should pause for a bit. Don't be hungry. It's not like saying,
it's not as if there is time frame. Okay, just give me from now till so time. I'm going to take care of this.
Just
we
wait.
don't even have time.
We have other important things to do, like build a convoy. Anyway, let me quickly go and pay some bills. We'll be right back to discuss this. When we come back from the break, we'll be able to reach our correspondents in the field and feel the pulse of the nation right here on Voice of the People.
Headphones on. Microphone in position. Microphone in position. Ooh. Decks on. What you doing with that thing? Decks on. Tapes on. Tapes on. Volume on. Volume on.
Best music. Music. The best music.
Keep it locked, cause you will be shocked.
We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at BOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. BOP TV, show up, speak up.
The award-winning pizza in the US is now here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Romeo, the pizza champions, and cold-berry ice cream. Ice cream? So, visit any of our outlets and feel the rich taste from the pizza champions and cold-berry ice cream.
At number 4, Odomosho Street,
Area 8, Genki, Abuja, or 3rd Avenue, Gwaripa, Abuja, or Federal Housing Estate, Phase 2, Lube, Abuja. Call 0908-831-5906 or 0908 831-5908 or 0909-238-9861. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter at rumourspizza.ng. Website www.rumourspizza.ng. Romeo, the pizza champions. Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafty Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
Others may drop the mic, I talk into it. If you're in need of a voice, well, I've got one.
Voice of the People, 96.1 FM.
Are you traveling to Lagos and desire the perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pickup and drop from the Lagos Airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience the ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
Believe me. The hustle never stops. The grind must continue.
I think that yes, I would like to buy something.
Regardless of how hard life gets, take a break from the norm. Let's face life issues head on. From alcoholism to obesity, entertainment and lifestyle.
Surgery does still go wrong.
Everything that matters on Matters. Mondays to Fridays, 12 to 3 p.m. on Voice of the People, Abuja. Because your voice matters.
And still giving updates per the NLC protest rally in Nigeria. I'm talking, Abuja, Lagos, and many other parts of the country. And just before we went on that break, myself and Aliu were just talking about, how this whole situation is starting to look like it might spiral into something else. Now, remember when we started the show, I gave a little update about how it started in Lagos State. People gathered at the Ikeja on that bridge, holding placards and saying, Mr. President, allow the poor to breathe. I mean, you said it. And if there's anything that is more frustrating than the president saying it, is watching the, president of the Senate actually making fun of it in the House. That clip just would infuriate anyone that is going through the actual hardships that we are going through and having to endure in the country. And then on Monday, we had the president of the Federation, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, address the nation, 7 p.m. national broadcast, and tell people in the country, hey, we understand what is going on. We see your plight. These are the things we intend to do. And at first, one would look at it and say, oh, these people have us in mind. The president is listening. The administration of the current sitting administration of the federal government of Nigeria, who a lot of people like to call the Bola Tinubu administration, rightly put, by the way, is listening to the plight of Nigerians. Then we are now dealing with a situation that is starting to look like, are you really listening, or are you pretending to listen? Considering that questions have been asked, questions have been raised about whether or not the federal government understands the plight of the people. Of course, we are going to give it to them when they came up with the whole idea of how to share, pardon my use of the word share, but when they said we were going to share 500 billion naira and give 12,000 naira, sorry, 8,000 naira, right, to 12 million Nigerian families, and Nigerians called out and said, no, we don't need handouts, we need you to put things in place so that we have things running. 8,000 naira is not going to do anything. It's like 200 naira per day. And it seemed like the government of the day listened, because they took that back and they said, okay, no, we're not going to do it. Now the NLC has been sitting down with these people and they've been saying, we have concerns, you're going to have to address these concerns. Nigerians are hungry, Nigerians are unhappy. That was the call. And now the NLC has also come out to tell us, well, this is a charade. This entire broadcast on Monday is a charade, because while the president is sounding like he cares about the everyday Nigerian, we have been having meetings with empty chairs. They really don't want to listen to us, and we were at a loss as to who to believe, because it's now your word against the word of the presidency. And all of a sudden we are seeing that these people are at the National Assembly and they are denied access, and that's in Abuja. Now there's an update coming from Lagos. Ali, you help us out.
Yeah, the DSS operatives occupied Lagos Assembly. This is what we are getting from there. But before I even go into this particular update, there is the choice of words used by our politicians these days need to be scrutinized further. There is difference between you knowing what someone is passing through. There is another thing entirely to understand what someone is passing through, and there's different from you to say, I feel what you are passing through. You cannot feel what I'm passing through if you did not pass through same situation. You are already in position of power where you have everything at your beck and call, and you are telling me that you feel or you understand what I am passing through. It's only the only terms that you can use for me to understand is that you know what I am passing through, simply because you have heard, and you can also see probably some videos making around that you'll be able to see, okay, this is what Nigerians are passing through, but you don't feel what I'm passing through. Absolutely.
Nigerians can't even afford a cup of gari. It's that bad. I mean, they are struggling. Business owners cannot give credit to their neighbors anymore. There was a time that, yes, we know that even in the hardships of people that are living in suburbs and all of that, there's probably one small shop in the neighborhood. At the end of the month, at the end of the week, you collect things all through the month or all through the week. At the end, you gather the money and you give to the person. They can't even afford to give the credit to the people that are buying from them. That's how bad it is. We need to start spelling these things out. When you say you know what people are passing through, do you know what it is like for somebody to soak gari and leave it to swell so that they and their children can have it on a regular day? You don't want to drink gari when it's swollen because it doesn't taste nice. But people are now eating just to survive. I mean, it's becoming appalling. A loaf of bread is 1,200 naira. Let's be honest, how much is 1,200 naira? Why are you buying a loaf of bread for 1,200? And the government would still have the mind.
Sorry to cut you, Chinwe. If your minimum wage is 30,000 naira, a loaf of bread is 1,200 naira, which means you cannot even get a loaf of bread daily with your minimum wage. We're not talking about house rent. We're not talking about clothing. We're not talking about health. We're not about health. We're not talking about transportation and other feeding basic necessities that you need. I mean there are a lot that
there's so much that should be looked at. And when the NLC started talks with them about 8 weeks ago, they said they wanted, I think it was a very ridiculous amount, I think 300% increment on salaries. And we sat down here, I think it was with you, and we were like, okay, NLC, how far will they be able to afford that all at once? And we called them out, but then again we realized it's a negotiation. Of course they will water it down.
They will come down to
of course they will come down to it. There are too many issues that are too important for us to play politics with in this country. And one of the reasons why I keep feeling frustrated every day when I go through the news, and I have to go through the news because it's my job to tell it to you, but one of the things that would increase your frustration as a Nigerian is the president cannot feign ignorance as to how bad the situation in the country is. He is the chairman of the ECOWAS. He is seeing what is happening in Niger. He has seen what happened in Burkina Faso and like
Syria alone
lately again. And how did this start? We are towing the same line. Now, the protesters in Abuja were infuriated to the point that they had to bring down the gates of the National Assembly. And now DSS operatives have gone to occupy the Lagos Assembly. We asked this question last week Friday. What is the actual role of the Department of State Security? That's what they are, right? The DSS.
Yes.
There was a time we believed that the DSS were the people that used to hide. But you don't used to see DSS.
That's once upon a time.
There was a time you don't know them. There was even a time they used to say if you see a mad person, you'll be suspecting them because they'll say they wear is DSS, it's DSS. They used to pretend to be mad. So because they are investigating somebody around here, then it was the SSS. And now we have a situation that seems like, the DSS have now become like the watchdog of the government. Anyway, now our correspondent is ready to speak with us. She's in the field. We are just quickly going to try to reach her while you can stay with us on the show. She's with the protesters live in the field, and like we said, we want you to feel the pulse of Abuja. Hello. Hi, Alice. Thank you for joining us. How is it going there? Tell us where you are at.
Okay, Chiwe, I'm live at the National Assembly where the labor protest is taking place right now. Though the protest is over, but I have with me here Mr. Enojo who will be telling us more about this. Okay,
thank you very much. We're still with you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, listeners. I guess we're in the moon already. Good afternoon, Nigerians.
Sure, good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
What can you tell us about the protest and what is going on right now at the National Assembly?
Well, the protest started from the Unity Fountain and we stopped in our Senator Ali Ndume led the delegation of the Senate to come and address the entire labor force. The NLC and the TUC presidents were there, and they also spoke. And I think the bottom of it all is they have asked for 1 week, and that if after 1 week we don't get anything positive, they will call our leaders and ask us to continue with the protest.
And that was said by Senator Aliu Ndume himself?
Yes, Aliu Ndume, yes. And then I think Senator Kingibe was there and she also lended her voice to it. And all the other reps were there and they lended their voices to it.
All right. I would like to have your narration of what happened before you gain entrance to the National Assembly complex, because we were meant to understand that the gate of the National Assembly had to be brought down before you gain entrance. Tell us what happened.
Yes, it was at the front gate that I think it was locked up, and then you can't stop a moving train. The crowd here just stepped over the gates and the gates went down.
Well understood, sir. Well, we're really grateful for your input. Thank you for putting us through it.
Thank you.
Okay.
But I just wish they would do the right thing, because in Nigeria, doing the right thing is the problem. It's not about hearing. They actually hear, but they don't do the right thing, because what they are doing right now is like a doctor who wants to operate on a patient, and then you take the patient to the theater, cut the patient open, and then you are now looking for anesthesia to give to the patient. They've already removed the subsidy.
Hello, are you there? Hello.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, we lost you at subsidy. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. I said what they have actually done, what the government has actually done to remove subsidy is like a doctor who takes a patient to the theater and opens the patient up and then is looking for anesthesia to cushion the effect of the pain. Because they have removed subsidy before they are thinking about how to cushion the effect. The first thing would have been to give us anesthesia first, before thinking about taking us into the theater and opening us up by removing the subsidy. So I don't think they have done well at all. They have not done well at all.
All right,
and this just shows that they are not really going the right way.
All right, now from what Senator Ali Ndume and Senator Ireti came out to say to the protesters, could you figure out anything optimistic? Is there anything that will give Nigerians some sort of hope to wait for the 1 week they requested for?
Well, if you ask me for antecedents, there's nothing to hope for. But we just have to hope against hope. We just have to, because we have no other nation to go to. We are Nigerians and we are here and we believe in Nigeria. But if you ask me about antecedents, there's nothing to hope for.
All right.
We just have to see hope against hope.
What is the current mood right now at the National Assembly? We've learned that the protest is over.
Yes.
But what is the mood like before it was dispersed? What were the people?
The mood is actually a bittersweet. I can't even say a bittersweet one. It's a bitter one because Nigerian workers need response as soon as possible. Now, because like what I told you is like workers are like opened up to an operation before they are looking for anesthesia to give us to cushion the effect. So you can imagine somebody who is groaning under such pain. Will the person be, and you are telling the person wait for 1 week? The market is not smiling at us. Transportation is not smiling at us. Fuel is not smiling at us. So you should know what the mood is. It's not a good one.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We appreciate your contribution. Yes.
My name is Justice. While we are still on that, we have another comrade, Archie James. Okay, please go ahead. I'm comrade Archie James.
All right. Hi, comrade. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
All right. It is a very sad note. This is one of the most saddest days in the reign of this administration. The things I have today cannot be compared with the things I had today before President removed the first subsidy. I had hoped for this day where the Nigerian Labour Congress and TUC, an organized group of people should lead the Nigerian people out of this movement. It is so unfortunate if what I'm seeing here, or if what I've heard here, is actually going to be the end of this protest that the chief whip, Senator Ali Ndume, is seeking for. And if I still don't want to believe that the NLC and TNC have actually suspended this protest, because if they do, this will be a blatant blow in the bed. What Ali Ndume, Senator Ali Ndume, and the other just did is what I would call in my own balance a go massage. It is a psychological way of softening the masses, seal to getting Nigerian people out of this very economic situation. Look, we are all aware of what is happening in the market. We are not happy. People can no more feed, no means of going. How the people servant like you all like you do. A lot of my contemporaries, a lot of us can go to work every day. A situation where government is making an internal arrangement where you come to work 2 or 3 times a day, even without announcing it, it's impacting negatively on the economy. Exactly. How many persons are employed by government? Most of us as an African society, as I am, I have over 15-20 persons depending on me. You remove fuel subsidy without any plan. It surely demonstrated the government incompetence. crossing competence. Then there is nothing like economic planning. Otherwise, you cannot remove fuel subsidy, which is a live wire. They told us and deceive us that some cabal are sitting down somewhere and they are taking money and do this, that the subsidy is for the benefit of you. We have already were fooled before. We now know that the subsidy was actually for the betterment of the Nigerian people. Because you could buy for 195 naira and something was subsidized. The removal has shown clearly that actually we were depending on this subsidy for survival. We took it out. On the first inauguration, we took it out. Without recourse. The president is not empathetic. He is not empathetic. And a man who is not empathetic, the president, I do not see him. What the Senate just did now is robbing our ego.
What would you have preferred? What outcome would you have preferred would have happened?
Thank you very much. I have expected the NLC chair and TUC to continue with this protest. This is a government that do not listen. The NLC chair told us that even the subcommittee that was set to look into the fuel subsidy and the palliatives with the NLC never met with them. They never met with them. They will go and sit down with empty chairs. And you expect the same people who lie to who show they are not empathetic to listen to us. If you go home, they will go home. If you sleep for 1 day, they will sleep for 2 months. These people, it is a government that you have to take them inch by inch. Marry them strength with strength, man to man, power to power. Otherwise, you don't get no result. We are all here. We are all here. Nothing will happen. Nothing will change. We are going back to our normal suffering. So my take is we should have sustained the protest. The one we are seeking for, they should have been the one we address every issue and get back to us and present it to us. If you like it, we call up the protest. If you don't like it, we continue. Because nothing good is going to come out of this if we go home. It's so unfortunate. I'm disappointed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We can feel your frustrations and your passion through the conversation. Thank you, Alice and Justice. Would let you go now.
Thank you, Chiwe. We hope to see you with more.
Okay, of course. Just keep us updated as it goes there in the field. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, when you hear the frustration of Nigerians, you know that people are not making this up. And then you start to wonder whether or not, when you hear things like this, we listen to this conversation together. I'm literally still having good pimples all over my body. You start to wonder whether or not the interest of the people is actually being sought after by the people who claim that they have been put in power by these same people to look after their interests. Yeah,
I look at what the submission of the two persons that we spoke with, especially that of Comrade. Yes, I think I share in his own sentiment with what happened. You just come out to address these people. Now, what is the essence of this protest?
You
are unable to get what you wanted. You have already informed this government, this is what we want, this is how we want this to go about. You have more than enough time, because I was saying you have enough time. You don't have more than enough time to look at all of these situations and come up with a solution. The solution you came up with 2 days ago, that is according to what the president said during his national broadcast, did not solve all of the problems, especially the biggest of it all,
of course,
which the NLC are still insisting on.
Sorry, by the solution you spoke about, you mean like the
palliative, of course.
The broadcast?
Yes, he said those are part of the palliative that the government wants to make available to Nigerians to alleviate the suffering of Nigerians as a result of the policies the government brought.
Now, I think the problem of the Nigerian person on the street, Aliu, is exactly what you just said. It's just we're not saying it as though it is the problem. The problem of the Nigerian person on the street today is the government is still talking. They are still saying to do, and they have done nothing yet. Their body language is showing one thing while their words are saying another. You cannot claim to care about the suffering of a person when you are doing nothing to help alleviate that suffering. Listen, if you have a child, most of us do have children, so hopefully this helps us understand it. You have a child, your child runs to you and says, my leg hurts, and your child is crying, and you can see that they are injured. Then you tell them, oh, don't worry, you're going to be fine. No, the wound is going to rot.
And you're also showing them that you have the solution to the problem.
Yes, they can see you with a first aid box, or you're like, don't worry, let's wait until the wound has festered and it is bringing out maggots. Then we'll call the doctor and figure out if we can fix a meeting with the doctor. People are hungry, and you're telling them to. This is the part that gets me. People are hungry. You're telling them to sacrifice for the nation, and every single day, your convoy creates traffic. For about 30 minutes, these same people that are hungry are watching you in exotic cars pass to go to work. Meanwhile, their own tax that they are paying is taking care of a fully functional villa that you're supposed to live like a king in. These are the things that now I am not trying to make. I'm just making reference to Peter Obi now. I'm not. One of the things he stated in his what do they call it, in his campaign, it was very, very clear, and it opened the eyes of Nigerians to see that that is where most of our problems come, is the waste that is in governance. There are so many places that Nigeria can raise money to help the people with the immediate problems that they have right now. The 500 billion naira now that we believe is sitting down somewhere and nothing is happening to it. Why have we not used it to do something that can help the people, that does not give room for plenty of people to steal money?
Aside the 500 billion naira, we're talking about saving over 1 trillion naira
what
as a result
is
of the subsidy
being done
removal.
with it? What did they use the money do? These are the frustrations of Nigerians today. When you hear this comrade sounding as frustrated as he is, he said he has over 15 people dependent on him. That is a lot of bills.
Of course it is.
One loaf of bread that pays 1,200 or 1,500, is that what he will use to feed 15 people?
That's not possible.
We need to be more
and again, Chinwe, you know, the irony of it all now is that these people got to the National Assembly, tabled their demand, even though they've been tabling their demands even before going to the National Assembly today. But now that the Chief Whip, Senator Ali Ndume, has come out to address them and say they should give 1 week. Now, what if nothing happens after this 1 week? Do they want them to still come back and protest again, and they will come and still ask for another time to look at these things? Before this, the issue of protest today, the government were aware. Whatever they want to discuss within this 1 week, they should have discussed it even before now, so that before these people embark on this strike, you will now roll out the solution to their demands. These demands is not as if, you know, one thing that's really baffling me about this whole situation is that this demand is not as if it's unrealistic. Their demands are not unrealistic. They are realistic demand that every average Nigerian would want to also concur to. It's not as if they are asking for something out of the planet Earth.
Look, it's simple. If you have said, I'm going to remove fuel subsidy, we all agree that it's useful, but you've not put in place, it takes you all the way to March to be able to put in place the things that are going to mitigate the suffering. Put the subsidy back. When you are ready and you have the measures, then you can go back and remove the fuel subsidy. Do something. It's either you call off the policies, or if you are sticking with them, do something for the people. It's not a do or die. Nobody put a gun to the government's head and say you must remove the fuel subsidy. Yes, we want our economy to get better, but the economy has gotten worse in the last couple of months.
This is a situation whereby a lot of people will start making reference, because if you want to know where we are and where we're headed, you have to look at what happened yesterday. In 2012, January to be precise, before Goodluck Ebele Jonathan made attempts to remove subsidy, he was able to make provisions, talking about Shopee. He had already put up modalities in place that if I remove this subsidy, these are the things that I will take care of Nigerians with. Before Goodluck Jonathan, there was late Umar Musa Yar'Adua.
Absolutely.
Umar Musa Yar'Adua was in power. We were paying subsidy then, but this man was able to even bring down the cost of fuel in Nigeria.
Yes.
What happened? Did we die? Things were working normal, and he even went ahead to save extra money from what we were generating as a country.
Can we stop for a moment? I will say this in closing because we really do need to leave. But of course, matters continues. When updates come in, as the day goes. Of course, we know that the protest here in Abuja has finished. People are dispersing, but of course, if there are any updates, we're going to keep you updated in the course of all our shows moving on today, regardless of what the show is about. And also, we have we'll keep up with our correspondents in Lagos State, considering the fact that now we know the latest update from Lagos is that the DSS has occupied the Lagos Assembly. There's so much to discuss about that. We will have to continue this conversation tomorrow and maybe till the end of the week, until maybe the 1 week is over and we finally know that something is going on. But do have this, be rest assured that Voice of the People, we're here to do our bid as the media, as the fourth arm of government. That's what we are called, right? We're the fourth realm of the estate. We're doing our own bid to make sure that we bring the right information, we listen to the voice of the people, and we carry out, we at least demand for what the people ask us to demand for. Now, what I was going to say is what's it called now? The major problem of Nigeria that we keep running away from and keep trying to find many other things to cover it as though we cannot see. The actual problem of this country is lack of transparency, lack of accountability that leads to lack of transparency. There is nobody holding anybody accountable for wrongdoing. Do we know that there is wrong being done? Absolutely yes. Are we a dumb people? No. We are one of the smartest nations in the world. Nigerians stand out wherever they go. There are too many precedents to look at. Too many young Nigerians, too many old Nigerians breaking records all around the world, setting new ones. So yes, Nigerians are great people. Yes, Nigerians have the ability to do what they do, but we have a problem of not holding the people we put in the office to make sure that our nation progresses accountable for their actions. And when you don't hold them accountable, you cannot have transparency. Until we deal with that problem, we're going to keep having people disappointed day and night. Imagine how many people are going back to their houses disappointed. Tomorrow they are going to wake up and still pay the same price on transport when they are heading out. This problem is knocking at our doorsteps. We have to realize that it lies in the hands of us as a people and the leaders, in our hands together as Nigerians, to move our country from where it is to where we would want it to be. Yes, we are not trying to be a UK. Yes, we are not trying to be a US. Yes, we are not trying to overnight become a Dubai.
But we have the potential to be better than who we are.
Absolutely do. Can we afford to have unrest in the country right now? Absolutely not. No. We cannot. But there are other things that there are other legal ways that the Constitution has given us as a people. Until we use that and take a stand and say that, okay, we can't do this anymore, and until the leaders actually know that they are not there for decoration and buying of new jeeps every now and then and carrying long convoys up and down, but they do have a responsibility to the people of this nation, we're going to keep disappointing ourselves and disappointing our children to come. Have a beautiful day and thank you for staying with us. Of course, Matters continues with Formula U. While we're going through this, we still do care about you and we know the realities on ground. We have a financial expert in the house. We're going to be going through, having a conversation with her about how you can have a better, how you can find your way through this economic distress and, just live better right now, because if there's anything that is important to Nigerians right now, is the way that you can help your own self do better. So we'll be looking at navigating the turbulent waters of this economy and strategies for surviving in today's economy. If you are